Who was the MSP officer designated as the case officer? I don't think we know this yet.
Was the Mass State Police officer designated as, quote, the case officer in the investigation of this case on or around January 8th of 2023?
That would be Trooper Michael Proctor.
It's December 5th. It's Friday. It's day 5 of the Commonwealth versus Brian Walshe. The Commonwealth has been moving and grooving through witnesses. It's been a really organized trial. It has been nice to see the attorneys working well together, the court working well with the attorneys. There have been just a few sidebars to deal with evidentiary issues that really can't be dealt with in any other way. But it's been really nice to see just how professional and normal this case is proceeding, despite the fact that, well, the facts of this case are anything but normal. It is difficult going through this case as we are having lots of discussions about what does premeditation mean? What does first-degree murder in Massachusetts look like? And as a juror, or as a viewer watching this as a juror, how do you try to decide what someone was thinking when the thought process is clearly so far out of the realm of what most of us would think? When you look at the things that he's pled to that the jury does not know about, and I don't think they will know about it. Yes, he can admit it if he testifies, but they won't know that he's pled guilty to that, I don't think. The court hasn't ruled on that yet, but I don't think she's going to allow it. We'll see. When we're trying to wrap our heads around, did this defendant choose to do this thing, a murder? And was it a conscious choice? Did he choose to do that? Well, how do you try to apply your logic to determining whether or not this was premeditated? And that's really where the jury instructions will come in handy to the jury. But it's the conversation that we're going to keep having. And if you find yourself at this point going, I'm just not sure, it's okay. We're on day 5. And a lot of the evidence we've seen is what he did afterwards. And then we're going to start talking about how to take consciousness of guilt, the things that he was Googling, and where those things can start to apply to the jury trying to figure out what somebody was thinking, because it's real hard to figure out what they're thinking if they don't tell you. And I wonder if a lot of this is just going to end up being a law school thought experiment, because by the time he testifies, all of that might go right out the window, depending on how and what he says. It's interesting to start to have that legal conversation almost a little bit aside from how horrific some of this evidence is. And yesterday, again, just evidence that in another case with other facts, somebody walking back and forth to a dumpster might not have the same meaning, but in this case, it's chilling. And that's something that we have to keep in mind as well.
Hello, Thomas found the phone playing on William's bed. William said he forgot it was there. Ha ha ha. Okay, call anytime.
What is the date and time? Now, this doesn't say delivered, correct? Or is there a time when it was delivered?
It does not say, sir.
What is the date and time in the bottom corner of the text?
January 2nd, 2023 at 2:33 p.m.
And so, sir, if there's no delivered, what does that mean?
I don't believe it was ever delivered to the intended recipient.
But there's a date and time. Is that when the text was written?
The bottom right?
Yes.
That's when it was sent.
That was when it was sent, because there's a status saying sent.
Correct.
Okay. Can we scroll down to the next text? Trooper, which phone number is sending this?
The number ending in 8646.
Could you read the body of this?
Hello, where are you? Please call, text, or email. Exhausting day with the boys, and we had fun. Going to bed early. Big day tomorrow for everyone. I still love you. Ha ha ha.
And what is the date and time in the bottom?
January 2nd, 2023, 7:18 p.m.
And does this note if it was delivered?
It does not.
Could we go to the next page, page 52? Which number sent this message, sir?
The number ending in 8646.
And what is the body of it?
Hello.
And what is the date and the time?
January 3rd, 2023 at 6:39 a.m.
Does this denote if it was delivered?
It does not.
Could we have the next text? Which number sent this?
The number ending in 8646.
And what is the body of it?
Where are you?
And what is the date and time of this?
January 3rd, 2023, 6:39 a.m.
And this has a status of sent?
Yes.
Could we have the next message? Which number sent this?
The number ending in 8646.
And what is the body of it?
I'm worried. Please call or email.
And what time was this sent?
January 3rd, 2023, 6:39 a.m.
Could we go to page 53? Which number sent this message, sir?
The number ending in 8646.
What is the body of this?
Where are you? I just called and it went straight to voicemail. Calling you in Viber now.
And what is the date and time this message was sent?
January 3rd, 2023, 8:30 a.m.
Can we have the next message, please? Which number sent this?
The number ending in 8646.
And what is the body of this text?
I will call after I drop the boys. If I don't hear from you this morning, I'm going to report you missing.
What is the date and time this was sent?
January 3rd, 2023 at 8:32 a.m.
And going down to the next message, what number sent this message?
The number ending in 8646.
What is the body of this message?
Hello, I texted your sister and Alyssa. I am calling Jeff if I don't hear from you. Where are you?
And what is the date and time this was sent?
January 3rd, 2023, 12:16 p.m.
Going down to page 54. Sir, which phone sent this message?
The number ending in 8646.
And what does the body of it say?
Hello,
And what is the date and time it was sent?
January 3rd, 2023, 7:03 p.m.
And the next message, sir, which phone sent this?
The number ending in 8646.
And what is the body of this text?
Where are you? The boys and I are worried. I'm calling work tomorrow if I don't hear from you.
And what is the date and time this was sent?
January 3rd, 2023, 7:04 p.m.
Going down to the next message. What is the phone number that sent this?
The number ending in 8646.
And what is the body of that?
Where are you?
And what is the date and time that was sent?
January 4th, 2023 at 10:14 a.m.
And can we go to page 55 for the final message? Sir, what number sent this?
The number ending in 8646.
And what is the body of it?
I am calling Jeff now.
And what is the date and time it was sent?
January 4th, 2023, 10:15 a.m.
For the messages on January 2nd through January 4th of 2023, does any of the messages denote that they were delivered?
It does not appear that. Yes, sir.
Who was the Mass State Police officer designated as, quote, the case officer?
Who was the MSP officer designated as the case officer? I don't think we know this yet.
Who was the Mass State Police officer designated as, quote, the case officer in the investigation of this case on or around January 8th of 2023?
That would be Trooper Michael Proctor.
Fuck! Of course it was former Trooper Michael Proctor. Well, there's that answer.
Is it fair to say that what looks like is that Anna Walshe, at least Anna Walshe's phone, texted the phone assigned to Mr. Walshe and told and texted, my flight got canceled and I'm driving up?
Yes.
And before that, those texts that you read to the jury, where they're entered, Anna Walshe found dead, our plane crash, correct? The ones you testified to just a moment ago? Those searches, they appear to be searches to see if some harm came to Anna Walshe, correct?
Again, I can read the context. I don't know the content of the search.
But did you consider that in your investigation of the case when you looked at all this data together?
That specific search and text message?
All this data together that you just now told the jury about. Did you look at all that data together at one time, like you've just done for the jury, and created a context for all of those communications in those three different sources of information? Did you ever do that?
What three the call log, 3 sources? I'm not sure what.
Did you do it?
I've looked at all 3 of them multiple times.
Did you ever look and compare them and see that there were searches that looked like someone was concerned about harm that may have come to Anna Walshe, and then when Anna Walshe texted and said, my flight got canceled, none of those alarming texts occurred out of it?
Objection?
As to the characterization,
Yes.
sustained.
Did you see, I understand. Did you see any other text after the 12:57 text from Anna Walsh's phone saying my flight got canceled driving up? Did you see any text after that where there were any searches about plane crash or is Anna Walshe dead or anything like that? You didn't see anything like that, did you?
I would have to review them again, sir.
I think I probably spoke too soon when talking about how smooth court has gone, because today, as we have gotten into the cross-examination of Trooper Connor Keefe, things have been a bit clunky. You know what wasn't clunky, though? Tipton asked Trooper Connor Keefe who the case agent was for MSP for this case. That pit in your stomach, you already know who the answer was. Former Trooper Michael Proctor. And no, they did not call him former Trooper Michael Proctor on the stand. And I don't know if now is the time in trial to get into the former Trooper Michael Proctor-ness of all of it. But former Trooper Michael Proctor was the case agent for MSP on this case. And that's the first time the jury has heard this in court. Here's how that may or may not matter. Cohasset Police was lead on this case. Trooper Proctor was organizing some of the search warrants and the digital evidence, it seems, but Cohasset was more in the driver's seat of this investigation than MSP was. MSP was support because this started as a missing person. MSP has jurisdiction over homicide cases. This was not a homicide case yet. And I think Cohasset did a fantastic job. Will the taint, for lack of a better word, of Trooper Proctor be a problem? Well, the defense is going to try to pull everything up in arguing that this was not a murder and this was not a first-degree premeditated murder. And Proctor is on the defense witness list. And now, as they take the morning break on this half day of court, we are slogging through a juxtaposition of what was going on Christmas Day. The searches from Brian Walshe, the texts between Brian Walshe and Anna Walshe, the phone calls between Brian Walshe and Anna Walshe, and each of those things are in separate reports and separate data sets. And so the defense has Trooper Connor Keefe on the stand with just binders and stacks of things and trying to go through what was Brian Walshe searching, what was he texting, and what were the phone calls, and trying to set out a timeline of searching this, then this, then this. Could this part go smoother? Oh, yes. Yes, it could. Is it intentionally clunky, or is it a difficulty with the witness or the fact that all these things are in different spots? I do not know, but it's been clunky. I think the defense's point is that Brian Walshe searched William Fastow on Christmas. And I think a lot of us went, oh, Anna Walshe spent the night Christmas Eve with William Fastow. Why was he searching for William Fastow on Christmas? Did he know that there was an affair? Does that change the context of conversations they might have had on New Year's Day? I think the defense is trying to distance that and say, no, he was looking for someone to get in contact with because he couldn't get in contact with Anna Walshe. And then there were also those searches of plane crash and Anna Walshe found dead. And so the defense characterized those in their question as shocking searches. I think the reason the defense is going through a timeline is to show that he was looking for JetBlue flights or trying to find JetBlue flights information. And then he's texting Anna, hello, I haven't heard from you. And then Anna finally texts him back. My flight got canceled, I'm driving. So there was texting back and forth and then phone calls. And I think he's trying to take some of the oddness out of those searches. I had thought that they were just that, they were odd. But I hadn't thought that they were horrifically shocking. But maybe it's because we saw all the really shocking searches before that. But they are focusing on Christmas Day and the time leading up to January 1st. I don't know if they'll focus on after January 1st or if they'll just be like, we're going to let it be. But I think he's trying to show more context for the plane crash and for the Anna Walshe found dead, to try to close the door on any jurors that might think, oh, well, he was already searching if she was dead. Maybe he wanted her dead. Maybe he was hoping that something happened to her. I think the defense is trying to close the door on those thoughts and trying to push forward on, he was Googling these things because he was worried. Building up to their argument that after Brian Walshe found Anna Walshe dead, this is what they said in opening, that he freaked out. I think they're trying to lay the groundwork for that argument down the road.
So you're telling us that I can't explore getting further search warrants to go back 1225 with this witness?
I think you can with regard to his sort of, I'll call it area of expertise, but that's not what you really want, right?
You mean with the Verizon records?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I don't.
I mean, as I look through back to go through, I mean, I think you have to have the filter that I'm placing right now is you have to have a good faith basis for all your questions, both sides. This, I won't call him an expert. This trooper's expertise.
You know that he didn't do this.
As is revealed by those search warrants, is in a particular narrow focus.
Okay.
Now, you set the foundation for some broader thing, maybe Ken, I don't know, making reasonable inferences from what I know about the case, then I may come in. But with this witness, and there may be other witnesses to include Trooper Proctor.
Yikes.
Seems like Trooper Guarino had a slightly different role than even Trooper Keith. So I think there are proper inquiries or proper individuals that you might be able to make these inquiries to some depth. I don't think this is one of them.
What's just a minute?
You're done?
Just a minute.
Did you hear the eagerness in the court's voice? May I have a moment, Your Honor? You're done? You could feel at the court. You're done. We're done. Are we done with this? Good.
Finally done. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And we are, in
Redirect.
fact.
No, Your Honor.
Bold move from the prosecution. Any redirect? Nope. When they don't redirect, what does it say to you? Because I think the prosecution hopes that the vibe is none of that shit mattered. Doesn't hurt our case. None of it matters. Why would we bother? Let's just keep it moving. At the end of day 5, the end of week 1 of the Brian Walshe case, the witness that took the stand last is the medical examiner, or one of the medical examiners from the Office of the Medical Examiner. And you might be asking, because chat certainly did, but if there is no victim remains recovered, what role does the medical examiner play? And we are going to see more of that when we get into the day on Monday. But the medical examiner was evaluating items that were recovered from the dumpster at the defendant's mother's home to evaluate them for tissue, etc. So we are going to hear more about that on Monday. We are just getting into evaluating the cut up pieces of rug that were recovered, and they are going to be evaluating, I imagine, the slippers. We know that there was tissue and hair that were attached to some of those items. And so on Monday, it's going to be a bit of heavy testimony. A reminder, when we switch witnesses, we will let you know in the Law Nerd app. We are starting with the ME on Monday, and then I imagine we will be getting into scientific testimony about what items were swabbed, tested for DNA, tested for presence of blood, etc. So we will text you when the ME is done if you're like, that's much. I get it. Also, we saw in court the tools that were purchased at Lowe's being introduced into court. And I know for me, and I think for many of you, seeing them in court, they appear much larger than they do in the photographs that were probably taken from standing to get everything into the photographs. It's why they bring them in the court, so the jury can see how large that hacksaw is, how large the snips were, how large the hatchet and the hammer were. So those were in court at the end of the day. There was a very clunky and long cross-examination of Trooper Connor Keefe. And really, what I took away from that cross-examination is there were plenty of like normal life stuff text messages leading up to New Year's Eve, but things can often be normal until they're not. So I'm not surprised by any of that. And we did learn that MSP assigned the lead investigator role to Trooper Proctor in this case. So there's that. And we did hear the judge talk about whether Trooper Proctor could be testifying or would be an appropriate witness. I think we'll see more about that later too. So on the end of this case, the prosecution has moved very quickly through 23 witnesses, I think now. And the court did tell the jury that they are on track to be done with evidence in about 3 weeks. So this week plus 2 more. I know she had wanted the jury to get this case before Christmas, and they might be on track to do that. The thing that is going to mess up all of the dates, because if they only have 2 weeks left, they could be done by December 18th, the week before Christmas. If the defendant testifies, which it seems that he's going to, the big question will be how much time will he be on the stand and how long will cross-examination be? This case is moving along pretty quickly, and we will see what happens when we're back in court on Monday. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss updates on your favorite cases, you're going to need the Law Nerd app at lawnerd.app.com. That way you can stay in the loop on the cases that matter most to you, and you never know when you're going to catch feelings for a new case. So make sure you get it for free on iOS and Android. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a Law Nerd.